Hi everyone, I am Hollywood Royalty. And today we're going to get into several topics that may be split up into several videos. Let's see how quickly I could get through this for you. It's about, and you may find this quite fascinating, if you ever had the idea to rent your own home to a movie production, the way you would go about it, and what to expect. And in relation to Prince Harry's Montecito property, what he likely has set up there, and in relation to my own castle that is a part of my fast-growing company, that this channel will likely turn into a restoration series for, and we can all be a part of building a real-life gifted economy together. So here I'm going to run a very quick clip of my castle. Dream come true. I've not ever owned my own place. I've never wanted to, because it didn't feel like it's somewhere where I ought to be, but this does feel like my home. The moment I saw the stairs going up to the front entry, I recognized it, and from that moment on, everything about this place made perfect sense for me. I'm very excited to know where in this world is the place where I belong, and now I just have to get there and build it. So, if you ever had the idea of renting out your own property, essentially, it appears that Harry bought a property that was already placed up online and available for doing so. Several of the commentary channels pointed to this website where that property in particular had all the pictures placed up and the amount that it would cost per week or per day to rent it out for production. Now, there are two different ways that one may write off a property in film production, and I've gotten this information from lawyers and entertainment specific accountants, and at the DGC, the Directors Guild, we as well have experts in this area that come in and give us advice. And so and women in film and television, it just goes on. I've just encountered this question so many times. So one is if you are a creative in film or business individual as myself, what you could do, you could be a screenwriter, you could be a director who's working out of their home and have a home office, and that's essentially usually the way you go about it, is you take whatever percentage of the square footage that you feel you're using for your business purposes, and you take that and you calculate it in accordance to your expenses, especially your rent, obviously, if you have rent or mortgage, and then you can write off a percentage of the property every month if you genuinely are using it this way. And it's quite possible that Harry has it configured in this way, and buying a property that previously offered itself for a production would probably stave off any tax questions. Is this genuine or not? At least it would certainly help out. But there's the other side of this, and this is what would relate with you as a homeowner, a business owner, whatever it is you have that you've always kind of questioned, well, what if I, had a production come in and rented this out from me? What kind of money could we make? Even schools. Say you're, a VP at a school or something to this effect, or a country club, and you've always questioned if you could bring in a large amount of money, inviting in film productions. So don't take it for granted, whatever property you have, and say, oh, it's not prestigious enough, it's not anything they'd be interested. You don't know what we're looking for. You don't know the storyline. It could be anything from a very seedy something in some area of the city, criminal activities going on, to, small suburban home that's just a bungalow with a small family, or, something in supernatural that's really over the top and so unique in its look, very old or gothic. You just don't take it for granted that you're not what we're looking for. I have filmed in every kind of property you may think of: large mansions, estates, things as 50 Shades of Grey. Not endorsing this product necessarily, but just saying Mr. Gray's home. I've been in it. Just different types of affluent to when we go downtown, back street alleys. Of course, we always have hazmat people that go in that are specialized cleaners that will clean that entire laneway, and take out all the unpleasant needles and everything. We have to have a safe work environment for our crews. And so I do not ever run into anything of any danger or anything to this effect. When a film crew goes in, we almost always leave it better than when we found it. And hopefully you'll take that to heart. That's my point. No matter how bad it is, we will leave it far better than we found it. But it'll look like your place. You're not going to feel like we've done something to it. So, what you do is, especially if you're in an area where there is quite a bit of filming, connect with your local film office. It could be, now, of course, it could be different ways you go about things in different areas. I'm just speaking from the point of view of where I am in Canada, but it's almost always the same across North America. The government will have its own office where they register usually properties. That location managers are the people who want to book your place. They're the people on film productions whose responsibility it is to know what properties are available, what's new, the way to build these relationships, because it is a relationship. And just to know filmmaking enough to be able to gauge the way the property may be, what it's capable of and what it's not, what its strengths are and what its weaknesses are. That's the location manager. That's the person you're going to be dealing with, making your deals with, and connecting with. So in Montreal, for example, they have an entire department so impressive. Myself, as a filmmaker, I gave them my feature script that I want to play Montreal for Montreal. They go through all of their different properties, and then they pitch several possible locations to me according to what I'm looking for. That's astounding. And that's a free service that the government's offering there. Now, in Vancouver, say, where it's just a different way that they go about it. They have a website, and you can peruse through it yourself. And it has different pictures that their people have gone in, taken pictures, and or you have taken pictures yourself and uploaded to them with descriptions and different measurements. And they have a good sense of what you have to offer. And, I wouldn't say bug them. I'm not a location manager. I've just worked with them quite a bit. But I found, don't get angry with me, location managers, if I did this wrong, but if nobody's ever gotten to you, just want to briefly ever mention your property and introduce it, Usually on a Directors Guild website, you can see whether the location managers are listed, and they have their actual CV resumes there for the entire public to look at, which usually includes their email address. And you can just put it, the quicker it is, less is more when you deal with these people. A one-line saying, I have a new property that I'm excited to rent out to people in the film business. Feel free to see this listing, and then put the URL with your name and number. That's all they need. That's probably all they want to see, because they're running around and doing things, and the moment this thing pops up, they look at it and they go, huh, and they might take 1 sec, put you into their personal list, and then leave it and move on. But they'll be thinking about you for the next few productions probably. They always love a new location. And what they don't like is to burn a location, is what we call it. So burning a location is when things go badly between the production and you. So we like you to be as happy as possible through the entire process. But we also have to protect ourselves. I had one time where I was hired on to represent a production to this location that was so fussy. It was an estate, and it was so lovely to be at. It was really a different scenario. I only took it because usually we're running everywhere, and every day we're somewhere new. But for an entire month, I would be at this estate. You know, that was on Riverdale, and so many different movies use this one place, but they know filmmaking so well by now. They're so fussy, and almost always they come up with something that got harmed, and we are all very uncertain what to make of it. So, you know, our people have to go in advance, put little stickers on every little cut, every little smudge, everything they already have in their property, because we're so worried, because everything's so expensive in this place. We're worried that they're going to blame us for something that already was there. You may have things, and when you start to look at it, you'll start to realize that your eyes are overlooking damage in your own home that you didn't realize you actually have always had. So we'll take tons of pictures and just cover our bums in advance, and that's, you know, what you expect. Now, if you are something like a small business, a restaurant, you know, you sell clothes, and they've booked you for a movie, they might ask you to be on as a liaison. And a liaison is someone who's just on site or available to answer questions on the day, you know, that we may have with relation to lighting, or something that goes off, or some weird sound that we hear. We may need you. Probably it's not going to be a big deal. Frequently, we will offer a hotel to the family if it's more than one day we're filming in the same place, or people who own the house. And then you get to go away for a few days, and everything's all paid for, and you're getting paid for your home to be filmed in, because we know it's not easy. It's your home. You're going to look at it and go, wait, you can't put that up. That you don't know what we can do as film people. You don't know what we can get away with. We know what we can do. And we almost always make sure that there's, you know, no damage. Our people are really good. So frustrating. One of the most frustrating things is we come in through the entry, you always have to take your boots off or cover them up, and when it's raining, and you're putting it back on and off and on and off and on and off and on and off all day long when you're filming. It's ridiculous. Almost the only people who will use your washrooms usually are the actors and maybe the producer. Those are probably the only people who will give permission. I usually would as well. I'm an AD. I sneak in there. But we usually don't really let the crew use things that are personal like this. I've not ever, in all of over a decade, had a problem with somebody saying something went missing. Not even the smallest little thing. Our crews are so very professional and have absolutely no interest in what you have. I can't tell you the amount that they're just not, this is not their area of focus. They're there to make a film as quickly as possible and get out. And And that's the thing, you just don't know that that's the way it is in film. We have a military tradition when it comes to film crews. And if you make the slightest error by doing something not proper, you're out. That's it. It's just, you're out. Goodness knows if you'd ever be hired again. You know, it's quite like the army in many ways. Just the way that we had to actually dismantle a lot of this tradition because there was a lot of the very heavy-handed abuse that may come from it, especially from first ADs towards the crew, keeping them in line. And we realized that's really not necessary, and you're actually losing a lot of very good talent if you are too rough. So we're just very conscientious and very protective of your property. In fact, we do not ever want to burn a location. We don't want you to come home and find, you know, your kid's favorite teddy is missing or something that's so, you know, unbelievably unforgivable. Everything will be as you had it. And if there are a few marks or the like, what we do is we do anticipate this, and we book aside our professional painters and greens people, and they'll come by and re-sod if something needed to with your lawn, re-garden if there's anything that needs to be done with the garden, retouch up your paint. And these are professionals, unionized professional painters. These are not just any old painters that you get anywhere. These will be top professionals that are, you won't notice. I've always found it astounding when we're filming and I go, I don't know about this. And then I see it after and I say, that is so impressive. It is so impressive, the work we do. You know, it could be like the worst rainy, muddy, everything kind of day, and you think the place will just be an absolute mess. And we don't. We make it through, pull out, and you just wouldn't even guess we were ever there. It's always that good. So you can negotiate different prices that you may want for your place. If you have that weird neighbor, that's the only thing you're worried about. We always sign off and do all of our lettering, as I mentioned before, and making sure people are aware in the area. And if they come out with their lawnmower and they try to be a mean person making tons of sound, we usually, our location manager goes over and offers them, don't do this. Now they said it just to get some money, but they might offer them a few $100s or have some gift certificates for a local restaurant or something nice. And say, here, I just would appreciate if you could just hold off for a few more hours until the daylight's gone, and then we're going to be out of here with our filming. Truly appreciate it. A good deal of filmmaking is public relations and building relationships, and they want you so happy. Location managers want you to want us back once more, 10 times more. And it doesn't matter what size your property is. It means a good deal to us, whatever it is. And our reputation within a certain city means a good deal to us. So I guess that's just the essentials of it. Obviously, there's so many things that come with it, but these are the larger questions I figure you may have. The largest probably is, what kind of money could I make with this? Well, it really depends on where you are, what city you're in, what your property is, what the production is. Are they going to be reusing it quite a bit? Are they establishing this as so-and-so's residence? It doesn't matter how large it is. It could be small little something that this person lives in, but if we're always going back to leave it to beaver home, then you might make quite a bit of money because it's irreplaceable to us now, you know, unless the beav wants to spend an entire episode moving. So I don't know. I'm not going to say. I don't want to mess you up. Talk to your local film office and find out from them what they may be able to work with. Your attitude being better with us also makes it far more likely whether we are going to book you more. So that is the other side of it as well. In any case, it gives you a bit of a sense of you know, Montecito, what they might be doing, because they could book themselves as a production. That's different than, writing off a section of your home for production office use. If you're using it for production, you have to actually have production going on that property in some way. And so that's just what's a little strange about it, because they bought a property that is listed as being available for rent for filming. In that case, you can make what you rent it as to the production whatever you like, is my point. Whatever you want to negotiate and think they'll accept. If you yourself are using it as a production office, you can write off part of your mortgage or your rent or the worth of it, or what, the average, the industry would go for its going rate. Or you could say we are filming here on site, but if you are filming on site, you have to actually be filming on site. So there is this as well. And that's what they've set up themselves to be seen as in buying that place, perhaps. So I don't know what they're doing with this. For myself, my project, and my castle, I'm going to have more videos for you to see as we progress, as I have milestones with my own company that I will share with you here. But I just dream about it every day, all the things I want to do with this property the moment I secure it. And actually, I had, I'm seeing all these different, I'll place a few of the videos in the URL of this woman who, in California, who's an architect, who's an expert on all the Disney castles, giving insight into them, and, Architectural Digest. And people were saying that my concept for this castle, the way to restore it, probably would end up in something like this. May actually start a new standard for the way that we go about restoring castles, because this is part of what my company is creating a franchise. You see frequently on YouTube several different restoration series of castles, and people are having a hard time. You might even have for $1 you could buy it, but nobody buys it because it's so massive a project, and taking it on is just, why? It's just so, you're going to put your entire life into this thing. So I'm creating a franchise that people can introduce as a business as well, that they can raise these monies around to be able to really facilitate restoring castles all over the place. And it's a franchise that is created to exist in a castle. Essentially, it's creating a modern day re-envisioned relationship with magical people and the like, as castles have always had, into a franchise gaming platform for kids. So you'll see what I mean with this. It's something that's definitely, many people on YouTube love the idea, young gamers. And just, it's going to be a movement. It's a revitalization of an old tradition and reimagined in a completely different way. So when I have more promotional material on my castle and headquarters and franchise and the business, I will place them up here so you can be a part of it as well. I'm so excited, I can't even tell you. I love this. So this is the end of this video. It's going to be one video. And then we'll get into another. Have a lovely day.